Hi guys, welcome to Yarnsensation, and today I wanted to share with you guys my little girl purse. And the way that I made it is made in two parts, and also what I've done, like I will show you real quick. This was the first one that I made. So at the bottom you have your little circles with loops, and then this will be the second part, the body, and then up top you're going to basically repeat the loops back around the top, and then you're going to create two set of chains going across for her to be able to hold her purse. And it's just a little arm purse. And I think I was thinking of maybe Easter when I created this one. Something cute that she could take to church. And what's fun about these is the fact that you can create them in any color. So this is March, and next it inspired me for St. Patrick's Day, but I don't know if we will be having a parade, but it'll be cute, you know, when they throw out the little candies. And I always think about when we go to the parade and my little granddaughters, they run out and grab their candy, but usually we don't take anything to put them in. So this would be so cute for St. Patty's Day, where she can just put it on her little hand, hold it on her shoulder, and as she get her candy, she can just drop them inside. And what I did with this is just create a little flower for decoration, and it can slide, so she can let it hang on the side if she wants to. She can put it in the center, and also you can make it without the flower if you prefer not to have the flower. And it's made the same way. The exception for this one is I used joining stitches, so it kind of gave me that wraparound appeal. It's so adorable and cute. And just looking at it, it's every time I create a project, I think of the next one, and this would even be cute for Easter, to make a little Easter basket, but bigger. And this is the second one. I just changed the color, and I created a different little flower for this one. But for this one, I didn't use joining stitches. It's just continuously going around up to the top, but the same style. You'll do your loops, create your chains going across. You can choose to do the flower, and then we're going to make the base. And inside is very roomy. Look, I can fit my hand in there, so she'll be able to get a lot of things in her little purse. Okay, so let's make one. To get started, you will start with your slip knot. You want to chain 2. You will place a total of 12 double crochets into your second chain from the hook. Once you have 12, you want to join in your first stitch. Next, you want to chain 4. Once you have your chain 4, you will slip stitch into that same stitch to create your first loop. Once you have your first loop, you want to slip stitch into your next stitch, and you will repeat by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And next you will slip stitch back into that same stitch, and you will repeat around by placing a slip stitch in your next stitch, chain 4, and slip stitch back in the same stitch, and just repeat back around to your last stitch by repeating your slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 4, slip stitch in the same stitch, and then slip stitch over to your next stitch and repeat your chain 4, slip stitch around, and we will meet back. Okay guys, so I am back at my last stitch, so I will complete my slip stitch, and I want to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and slip stitch back to complete that row. And the total number of loops that you will have will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Next, you want to chain 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Once you have 8, you will place a double crochet in the second chain from the hook. So what we're about to do is repeat this first circle that we made. So place 12 double crochets into that second chain. Once you have your 12, you will join in that first stitch, and you want to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you will slip stitch in that same stitch and slip stitch over to your next stitch and chain 4, and you're repeating exactly what you did for the first circle. And just repeat it around to your last stitch, and we will meet back. Okay, so I have completed my last loop. Next, finish off your work. Leave a small tail to weave in. And you just want to weave your two tails into the wrong side of your project. Our bottom part is complete, and what we will do, and we will also do this at the end to make sure that we have it in the correct order, but we have our chain that we created, so we're just going to flip it where you have the right side facing on the top and the right side facing on the bottom. And you can lay this aside. Next, we will create the body of our little girl purse. Okay, to get started for the body, you want to leave a long tail. Maybe about, I guess about 12, 14, 16 inches will be fine. We will use it to connect our body to the bottom of the bag. Once you have your long tail, you want to start with a slip knot, and it will start out the same way as we started the bottom of the bag. So you want to chain 2. You place 12 double crochets into the second chain. Once you have your 12 double crochets, join into your first stitch. You want to chain 1. You will place a half double crochet into that same stitch as your chain 1. Next, you will place 2 half double crochets in each stitch around to your last stitch. So you want to place 2 half double crochets into that first stitch and just repeat that around to your last stitch, and we will meet back. Okay, once you completed your 2 half double crochets in each stitch, you will have a total of 24 stitches around. Next, you want to join into your first stitch. You will chain 1. You will skip this first stitch, and you will place a half double crochet into your back loop only. So you will skip the first stitch that you see, not the stitch but the loop on top. You have 1 and 2. You have the front loop, the back loop. So you want to place your half double crochet in the back loop, and you will repeat that back around. And when you get back to this side, you will skip this stitch. So when you come back around, you will have a total of 22 half double crochets. So you start by placing your hook in the back loop and complete your first half double crochet. You just want to repeat that around. Okay, so I'm back at my last stitch, and as you're looking at it, you will see this stitch and then this stitch. You will not place a half double crochet here. Your work will start curving at this point, and that is fine because we're creating our purse. And you will know that you were working in the back stitch only because you will have this cute little ring. It's almost like it's setting the work apart or separating it, and that's our back loop stitch. Okay, next you want to slip stitch into your next stitch. You will chain one. You will place a half double crochet in the same stitch as you chain one, and you'll place a half double crochet in each stitch around. I am completing my last half double crochet for this row, and I had a total of 22 half double crochets. Okay, next you want to turn your work so the right side is out, and you can take this tail and place it inside your work. Okay, for our next row, we will not be joining. You need your stitch marker, and you will place your stitch marker in that last half double crochet that you made. For your next 3 rows, you will repeat half double crochets around. So you have 3 rows of half double crochets. You will not join your work. You will just start in the next stitch by placing your half double crochet, and then you just want to repeat that around. Once you get back around, once you reach your stitch marker, remove your stitch marker, place your last half double crochet for that round, place your stitch marker back, complete your next round, remove your stitch marker when you reach it, complete your last half double crochet, and complete your last round of half double crochets, and we will meet back. I have completed my first row. I'm back at my stitch marker. I will remove my stitch marker, place my half double crochet, place my stitch marker back into that last half double crochet that I just made, and in my next stitch I will complete my half double crochet and just continue that around until you have your last 2 rows of half double crochets. Okay, so I have made it back around for my last row. I want to remove my stitch marker and complete my last half double crochet. Once you complete your last half double crochet, the next round will be a decrease round. You want to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You will place your stitch marker and you will complete your decrease over these 2 stitches. Then you will continue half double crochet in the next stitches, and when you get to your last 2 stitches, 1, 2, you want to place a stitch marker in this stitch. So we will count back over. This will be the start of your decrease over 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then you want to half double crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and once you reach the 9th stitch, you place your stitch marker and you will complete your decrease over the last 2 stitches. Okay, so place a half double crochet in the next stitch and a half double crochet over to your stitch marker. Remove your stitch marker. Okay, you want to yarn over, place your hook into that stitch, pull up a loop. You want to go into your next stitch, pull up a loop. You have 4 loops on your hook and pull through all 4. And you want to complete your half double crochet in the next stitches until you get to your stitch marker. Once you get to your stitch marker, remove your stitch marker. And you want to complete your last half double crochet. Decrease. Next, place your stitch marker in the last stitch. You will have a total of 20 half double crochets for that row. For your next 3 rows, you will half double crochet around, placing a half double crochet in each stitch. Remember, when you get to your stitch marker, remove your stitch marker, place your half double crochet, and then place your stitch marker back and just move it as you complete your rows. So you will complete 3 rows of half double crochets, and then we will meet back. Okay, so I have completed my last row of half double crochets. So the next thing you will do is slip stitch in the next stitch. You want to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This row will be our last row, and we will be creating our loops. So you want to slip stitch in the same stitch, slip stitch over to your next stitch, chain 4, slip stitch in the same stitch, and you will repeat that back around to your last stitch. I am at my last stitch, completing my last chain 4. I want to slip stitch back into that same stitch. Once you complete your last chain of 4, you want to join in the next stitch. You will finish off your work and leave a small tail to weave into your work. Place one of your stitch marker in that first loop from where you end your work, and you count over 10 and place the next one at the 10th loop. You want to join your yarn into that loop. You will secure it with a chain 1, and you want to secure it again by using that tail and tying 2 knots. Next, you will chain 30. You will join to the other side where you have your stitch marker. You want to chain 30. And you will join back to your starting point. And you want to chain 1, and you will cut your yarn, leaving a tail long enough to weave in. You can remove your stitch markers. You should have a total of 3 tails. At this time, you can go ahead and weave those into your work, and we will meet back. Okay, so once you have weaved in your handle, this is what you will have. This is the bottom, and it stands on its own. So the next detail will be adding the bottom to our bag, and at this time you need your 3 stitch markers and the bottom that you created in the beginning. Okay, so with the stitch markers, you want to place them to the bottom of your purse, and what these stitch markers will represent is just an outline for us as we connect our bottom to the bag because we want to join it on our 12 double crochets that we created. And remember, this is the same. You have your 12 double crochets. Before you get started, remember we placed our tail inside of our bag. You can pull it out now, and you do not have to close the circle. And remember, with our bottom, make sure that your right sides are facing out, so your wrong sides will be touching. You need your yarn needle. Be joining this to the bottom. So the first thing you want to do with your yarn needle and your tail is just bring it through the bottom, but not through the center. Just do one of your loops, do one of your stitches. And once you have that, then you just want to go back through your stitches. And you will take your yarn needle and you will place it beneath one of your stitches on the bottom. And you're just going to repeat that around. So you just want to come back up through the bottom and then go over one of your stitches back through, and you're just wrapping it back around one of those double crochets in the center. And it may seem a little dizzy at first, but once you start going, you'll get it. As long as you're attaching the bottom to the bottom of the bag, it's fine. And once you're satisfied that it's attached to your liking, you just want to finish off. And the way I do is just bring my yarn through my loop. And just weave your tail in and finish it off. Remove your stitch markers. Okay, to create the flower, and remember, this is an option to the bag, but you want to chain 2. You'll place 5 double crochets into that second chain. You want to join in the next stitch. And you will be repeating chain 4, slip stitch into that same stitch, slip stitch over to your next stitch, chain 4, and slip stitch into the same stitch, and you just want to repeat that around. And I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 loops. Once you have your last loop, you want to chain 6. Once you have 6, you want to cut a yarn tail. Finish it off. You want to weave in your centerpiece. Once you have your centerpiece weaved in, next you will join your flower to your bag. Place your yarn tail onto your needle. Make sure that your right side is facing out. You want to place your chain of 6 around your handle. And you will join it back to your flower. And just pull your yarn tail through till your chain meets the flower. And once you have that, you just want to finish it by fasten it off and weave in your tail. Okay, we did it. We made our cute little bag, a little girl purse, and I think she'll look cute rocking this. Thanks for watching.